The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, America's competition shotgun, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays. With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
This is what I have to work with, everyone.
And Sean Alley.
Like I said, I was just thirsty.
Oh, boy.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. It's showtime.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Tracy Wright. What's up, buddy?
Just hanging out. Ready for another podcast. Looking forward to it.
Yeah? Are you frozen up there in Washington?
It's actually been kind of crazy warm. I mean, I've got no snow in the yard anymore. It was like 40 plus degrees today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So hopefully that keeps up. I can handle it. January and we got no snow. That's not like your normal Washington.
Well, I got a couple questions for you about that. Before we get to that, we do have a tourney talk to get to. Let's do that right now.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
All right, guys and gals, registration is now open for the 2026 Alabama State, which will be July 30th through August 2nd. And don't forget, both of the Dead Pair Blasts are now open for registration. The first one is April 3rd through the 4th at LA Clays. The second one will be December 11th through the 12th at Rocky Creek in Richburg, South Carolina. Tracy, you were talking about being snowed in up there, and I do have a couple questions, but before we get to that, had any feedback from the last podcast we did, or the questions for the coaches, part one?
Yeah, I mean, I've got quite a few messages. People just say that they seem to enjoy it. You know, the feedback is really important, and I really look forward to it, because I think we want to nail it for everybody.
Right.
And so the more feedback, the better. So keep it coming, please.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but like I've said on, both parts 1 and 2, if you guys got questions for a coach that maybe we haven't answered yet, don't be afraid to send it in to us. We don't have to put them all together and have 2 big episodes. I can ask a question a week if I need to, especially if you got something for Trace. He'd love to hear from you guys. So send them in. You're talking about weather and all that stuff, but the last time we had you on, we talked about practicing your mount and stuff indoors. Like you do that quite frequently. I kind of wanted to expand on that real quick. Is there any other drills that you do at home?
I've changed a little bit about how I go for things recently. So as when I came up, and I think most of it was doing gun mounts, I do a lot of insertion drills. So basically, like I've got a couple 60 millimeter targets that I've actually put on the seam of my wall. So the corner kind of represents the target. I've got a couple other targets that I've mounted on the wall.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of, so I will try and mount and insert to a specific insertion point on the target. So, maybe 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind. So whether I'm going to do swing through, pull away, or sustain lead. So I'm just trying to get really good at being precise at my insertion points. And it's really about checking to see how well I'm honoring what I predetermine. So if I predetermine a foot, then am I getting to that space without looking at it? Am I feeling my way out to the insertion point? So I do a lot of that, but I think recently it's been a lot about kind of health and fitness. It's been a lot about focal duration. One of the things that I struggled with a little bit earlier was diet. And nutrition, especially while being on the road and shooting.
It's so hard to adhere to a diet on the road.
I think if you're fresh on a diet or you're not used to eating clean and things like that, that if you psychologically identify a deficiency or that you don't have ample amount of calories or whatnot, that it gets in your head, and I think it's hard to focus. But I think if you're conditioned to it, that you're a lot clearer minded in general. And I think that you got to fight stuff like going towards, the sweet treats. If you're out on the course, I'm shooting, it's a tournament, I'm going to eat a Snickers bar or whatever it may be. I think you just got to stay focused on what are you conditioned to eating. So like I like pineapple, apples, things like that. I go to a lot of fruit-based carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But a lot of my prep over the last few months to about the last 3 years, honestly, has been very health and fitness minded, really paying attention to my focal duration and how can I enhance that focal duration.
Yeah.
Our devices, I think, hurt that quite a bit, like cell phones and things. But
Yes.
I think there's other ways to improve it. And so I've been working a lot on that.
Well, one of the reasons why I asked about that is because it's been probably 3 years ago. Chad Roberts did a video questions for the coaches, and he had a little mini mag flashlight he put in the end of his barrel and was doing flashlight drills at home and talking about how to mount and be able to follow along on the wall like what you're talking about. So I didn't know if you did anything like that or not. If anybody's curious about what I'm talking about, go to our YouTube channel. You have to dig back a little ways, but it is on there in the videos.
Yeah, it's a good video, and I think he put it out real close to COVID time.
Yeah,
and so he was like helping people kind of get some COVID work done, basically, so they're still moving the gun. So it's really helpful. Great video.
It was, and we got a big response out of that too.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, everyone, we're going to have Scott Manspeaker on, CEO of Atlas Traps. Now, whether or not you have land and can have your own traps or not, I think it's pretty cool because Atlas Traps was included in the 2025 National Championship this year. He's got some things you want to talk about with that, and I don't know. I'm anxious to pick his brain on a few things. But sincerely, thank you very much to Kolar Arms, Fiocchi USA, Rhino Chokes, Atlas Traps, Gun and Trophy Insurance, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Long Range, Taconic Distilleries, Bear Pelt, Odo Pro, El Jefe Energy, Slick Products. We really sincerely appreciate all of you. And you guys, please check these sponsors out. All their links are down in the show description and on our website. Let's support the people that are supporting us. Trace, you were telling me here not too long ago, it might have been this past fall, there were some drills that you were doing mentally at home. Can you elaborate on that?
I think it has a lot to do with kind of what I was talking about in terms of focal duration. I do some stuff, and it was actually when I first started, I started to practice it, and it was kind of visualization.
Uh-huh.
And I really try to visualize for longer and longer durations. And I think that really helps my focus. I really want to stay focused for at least that period of time in the box. One of the things that I would do for that would be I would visualize courses that I'm really familiar with, like my home course. I might shoot a couple of stations and see how many stations I can walk myself through visually.
Okay.
And then what I would do is I would visualize, different sporting place scenarios in like really cool places, like, downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Like what would it be like to shoot a target off the ONB building or whatever?
Right.
So just really cool situations that kind of really make visualization your way of measuring your ability to focus for a period of time.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's interesting because I've been to a tournament where like everything's moving and grooving and, you got to kind of rhythm down and then something happens. There's a backup or, a machine failure or whatever. And you end up sitting there for like 15 minutes and you feel like you just completely got out of rhythm. You know what I'm talking about. We've all had it happen. And
absolutely,
that ability to turn that focus off and on, like when that happens, be able to shut it off, relax for a few minutes, and then, okay, we're going again, and be able to turn it back on. That's difficult. And sounds to me like you're conditioning yourself outside of the club to be able to do that.
Absolutely. One of the things that I teach a lot is in like report pairs, you have this kind of focal duration or there's a focal spike like right at your kill point. But what a lot of people don't do is they don't bring that focus back down to kind of a more relaxed state so they can increase focus to the second target. And so it's kind of the same situation. You got to learn to bring that focus back down. You got to learn when to ramp it back up. You got to be able to turn it on and turn it off when it really matters. But I see a lot of people, they get to max focus on the first bird and they don't let it go back down on their way to bird two, and they're already cooked and they can't move the gun the same way or even give that second target the same amount of focus.
Yeah.
And you can really track that by looking at score sheets. I will count second column misses all the way through a score sheet to see, am I transitioning to the target well? Is it focus? Is it the visual transition? Are my eyes, not getting there prior to the gun, or are my eyes just following the gun around?
Mm-hmm.
But but there's a lot of things that you can track through kind of looking at those scorecards.
Very interesting. Very cool too. And that's something that I don't think enough people look at either.
I agree. I have a lot of students send score sheets to me.
Really? I know Chad does too. I mean, he gets, sometimes it depends on the weekend. He can get bombarded by, students sending him score sheets to look at, but I just got a text from Scott. He's ready to go. So let's get Scott Manspeaker on the phone. Everybody sit tight. We'll be right back.
The Dead Pair.
All right. It's been at least a year since we've had him on, and a lot has happened. Welcome back, Mr. Scott Manspeaker. Is it CEO? Is that the official title, Scott, of Atlas Traps?
It depends on the day and probably who you ask. I'm sure I have a lot of different names and a lot of different titles depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that one. Yeah. Well, this is kind of cool because you and I both, I mean, everybody knows I'm a dealer for Atlas, but one of our customers, Tracy Wright, is here with us. And Trace, just off the top of your head, do you know how many traps do you have of Atlases now?
Well, I've got 7. The club where I teach at most of the time has got quite a few more than that, but they were a hodgepodge when we started. So they had a whole bunch of different machines, and a new owner took over and started going all Atlas, basically.
Okay. All right.
And
cool.
I've had my 7 for about 4 years now.
Yeah. You were I think you initially bought like 3 or 4 and then just kind of added here and there. So
Yes,
I wasn't sure what we were up to. Well, Scott, the exciting news. Well, let me start off. Let me ask this first, Scott. It's been a year since we had you on the show. What's new with Atlas Traps?
Oh, lots, I guess, is the short answer. We've had to expand pretty much every single category of our business over the last year, really since we talked last. I mean, we were going through steady growth then, and we're going through pretty solid growth now. So that's expanding everything from our rental fleet to handle bigger shoots, expanding our production facility, our office space, even putting in a showroom here at the factory, just because we've had so much more walk-in business, and so many of our customers want to come here, get trained on the equipment. And so that's almost a daily thing now, which is really cool to see because people are traveling from all over the place to come here, and we're pretty centrally located. So that helps. So
yeah,
I would say, yeah, just every part of the business and trying to figure out how to we build everything by hand, but then how do you streamline that and how do you make it more efficient and how do you reduce the amount of steps you take during the day? You know what I mean? Just all these little things that we're trying to do because we obviously want to grow, but we don't want to grow too quick to where we have problems.
Yeah.
So that's been it's been a fun challenge. And those are the kind of challenges and obstacles that you want in any type of business, really.
Well, I think it was at the end of 23 when you doubled the production facilities. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, at the end, and then we moved early 24.
Okay.
And that space is already too small. So we're talking about another phase after that.
I remember when you had initially done that, I was like, you got to be excited moving in and everything else. And you were telling me, like you said, the less steps you take, and you were more worried about the quality not going away just because you're adding the quantity, right? In other words, you're upping production, but you want to make sure that we're still getting that good, quality control on each unit.
Yeah, exactly. Everything we do is hand built. So, and then we ship it over the road. So, let's say, I don't know, something happened in shipping or, just anything like that. We want to be able to know exactly what's going on. And if we made an error somewhere, how we quickly remedy that type of thing. So yeah, that's all part of not wanting to grow too quick and do it the right way.
Right. Well, most recently, pretty exciting, for the 2025 National Championship, we had the addition of Atlas traps on both the 5-stand and sub-gauge fields. How many traps did you have to bring in for that?
So we had 70 on the ground. Well, I guess if you factor what's in the store and up on the demo fields, we had a lot more than that. But we had 70 there. We utilized 63 in the event. We had 39 down on sub gauge and 24 on the pro through AA 5 stand.
Okay.
And so, of course, you always bring spares for things like that. But
Yeah.
luckily, we didn't need any of that. So.
Well, what were some of the? I mean, there had to have been some challenges. I mean, everybody goes through them out there. But what was some of the challenges you guys faced in setting up those two courses?
I think with the national event, for us, it was another shoot, but obviously there's nothing like it. It's the biggest shoot in the world. So I think the biggest thing that we try to figure out is logistics and getting everything there on time and making that as smooth as possible. But then also the personnel of trying to figure out how many people we would need on the ground there during the event, and I think that was the biggest thing. And we staffed more than we needed, but we'd like having that comfort.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I know you've been part of the national championship for a long time, as far as like as a vendor, and you've competed and all that. But was there anything new about either the national championship or being just a trap provider that maybe surprised you that you didn't know until this happened?
Yes. And I think the biggest thing that surprised me was the amount of man hours by so many different people when all the trap guys that were there, all the target setters and the maintenance guys, and just how many man hours it takes to pull off an event this size. I mean, it's to my knowledge, it's the biggest shooting event on earth. And so literally working along with Neil and Nathan Flanagan and all those guys and their staff. And it was mind blowing because I think we were there over a week before the first event, and it was, sun up to sundown every single day. So that was really cool to get to work alongside those guys and just and see what it takes and get in their mind of their method of how they do things and why they do things a certain way. So that was all amazing.
Seems like the ultimate torture test for your equipment. Like if you really want to put it through the paces and kind of measure, how well it's going to tolerate that many targets in that amount of time with so many limited maintenance windows, it's kind of the perfect scenario.
Exactly. I mean, that was jumping in the deep end and better know how to swim quickly. So that's what I was really excited to showcase, the reliability of our machines and the repeatability of the targets and the consistency and sub gauge was pretty mild in our capabilities. I mean, nothing was too crazy there, but the master or the pro through AA 5 stand, we had some really good targets on that, and we got to showcase a lot of what our machines can do. And after the fact, we went back through and we're looking at the machines, and we realized, they could tilt a lot farther over to throw more aggressive targets and way back and all these different things. So it was a good, it was a good test and a good trial for us to really showcase the capabilities and the reliability of all of our equipment.
Was it just you and Corey Howell that exclusively set the targets for those two events?
That was just Corey.
Okay, so you didn't set. He set the targets.
No, we were right there with Corey, and we'd manipulate the machines and things like that. But I think Corey did a phenomenal job on both sub gauge and 5 stand.
Yeah,
and you hear after the fact, like if they're too soft, you're going to hear that. If they're too hard, you're going to hear that. But I think considering it was pro through AA, I think he did an excellent job of setting some challenging targets where you still had plenty of time to hit it. And when you're throwing these over a 7-day period and we're setting them over a 14-day or 7 days prior to that, you've got wind to factor in, and then you've got to think about, if you don't put enough spraying on it and it's in the air, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of variance with the wind and things like that. So
Right.
just listening to Corey as he's going through and seeing what, how he sets the targets was awesome. It was a great experience.
So there's 3 different opinions there, right? So you have the opinion of the competitor, you have the opinion of the NSCA, and then you have the opinion of the ground staff that was there helping you, whether it was load targets or whatever. So what was the feedback like from those 3?
The feedback was great. It wouldn't be a major shoot if somebody didn't say, "Oh, those are really tough," or this or that. But across the board, we heard a few comments of they weren't aware that Atlas could throw like that. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's definitely cool.
That type of stuff was great. We didn't have any, like, on any machine issues or failures. We had 0 there. So there was no feedback on, whether our machine didn't do its job, because they all did. But the feedback really was more about how smooth everything was, how the machines were consistent all the way through, just the things you want to hear. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, your stuff did a great job, threw great targets, that type of thing.
Did you use all new machines for that, or were they out of your rental fleet? Or
no, those were out of our rental fleet.
Okay.
Most of those machines were probably, they had been to several different shoots prior to that. So they're probably anywhere from a year to 2 years old.
Got you.
We probably should have used new machines, thinking about what the event is, but yeah, it doesn't, I don't think it's too big of a deal either way.
Well, you had mentioned Neil, and not only is he the owner of Long Range, which Atlas carries all their products, but he's also on the EC for the NSCA. He's someone that you work closely with. I know this for a fact because I was down there and saw it during the Nationals. Neil's not afraid to give us his opinion, right or wrong, or whether you want to hear it or not. So what was his take on Atlas being there and, the performance that came out of the machines for the event?
Neil's very interesting because he's so nice, but I think he's the chairman of the shoot. He knows the job. He's done it so many times. It's like it needs to follow, ABCD, and he's got an amazing way of organizing the whole event. So it was really cool working with Neil in that aspect, because as one of their dealers, I always work with him in a different aspect. So seeing him really in his element orchestrate the whole event was amazing. As far as his feedback on our machines was fantastic. It was really good. Like I said, we had 0 machine failures, and everything did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and because of the staff we had, and how well everything went, we got invited back for Nationals in 26, and also Worlds here coming up in a couple months.
Nice. Very nice.
Very cool.
Well, one of the things, and I've bragged about this on several shows, not just the ones we've had you on, is the pride that the guys there at Atlas take. And, I saw it firsthand. Like, those guys take a lot of pride in building an American-made trap. And it's little things like testing every single trap before it leaves the factory. It's just one of the several steps that they take. And I don't mean to sound like a commercial, but with that being said, what did it mean to those guys as a company that now their traps are on, are part of the national championship?
It's a huge honor for us, and it's also extremely humbling just to be, to get the opportunity to even be in that conversation, and then using our machines in the event, and our guys staffing it, because our staff that was there at the event are guys that work in our factory every day.
Right.
So it was, just an insane amount of pride, and just super thankful to even get the opportunity, and then, to be able to handle the opportunity properly.
Yeah.
Like we're our guys here in the shop are still on a pretty good high of it. And anytime they see on social media, something from nationals, and they'll point like, hey, there's our machines, that type of stuff. And of course, Big Mike is like, I built that one and I built that one. And so it's just really cool to see the pride that everybody takes.
One of the things that I've noticed is it seems like every time I get a chance to see a new machine come out, there's some type of new detail, whether it be these, the aluminum plates on the adjustment arms. It just seems like there's always something new. There's always some improvement. It's detail oriented. You've got a really nice machine as it is, and then you've got these little details that are always improving. How do you structure your R&D? Do you have a separate R&D department that's constantly looking at that kind of stuff? Or
so our R&D department is John Ciro, my partner, and myself. And so I think I know it's our goal to constantly try to make these things better and make them live longer in the elements and make them withstand the elements longer and make them easy for the course manager and the target setters to go set them and use our machine. And, just to make it better all the way around. And if you can make it more accurate or you can make them lean farther, I guess probably the short answer to that question is OCD. And, you know what I mean? We drive ourselves nuts sometimes. We've got a bunch of stuff in the works right now. And it's funny because our guys give us a lot of grief that, we're never satisfied and we always think it could be better and, this and that. So we kind of drive ourselves crazy, but I think that leads itself to a better product.
It really shows. I always look forward to seeing a new machine because the first thing I do is I look at it for what they change now. What's the new
detail? You wouldn't believe the inventory we have of obsolete revisions.
Kind of fun to take a look at.
I'm glad we don't have a team of accountants because they would probably flip.
What is there? Can you tease us a little bit? Is there anything new coming this year that you can kind of allude to, or it's all under wraps right now?
No. So we've got a 90 teal chandelle that is, I think it's ready. We had a tweak on a part. So we got what I believe is our final prototype part in for that. So that's probably just weeks away of being released. We've got a 70 teal chandelle machine. We use which was our RTC, our rabbit teal chandelle machine, but then we split it and it'll only throw rabbit targets or it'll only throw standard targets. So we use that platform because it'll throw perfectly vertical or a 45-degree chandelle and everything in between. So we use that platform to make the MIDI teal chandelle and also the 70 teal chandelle. And I really hope I never have to shoot on the 70 teal chandelle in any competition.
Right.
I really hope target setters just don't do that because it's crazy.
That machine will throw a target into outer space.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been the U.S. Open at Providence. They threw some 90 teals, and after that, we've got a flood of calls because that target stumped everybody, and so it is a fun target and it's super deceiving. But then when you stick a 70 up there in it's wild. So we've got that. Our skeet machines, we changed our big high capacity 600 skeet machine from a 10 column to a 15 column just to lower the amount of targets in a stack. Also in that process, we motorized the vertical adjuster on that machine, so it moves really slow, so you can fine tune that, and that's all done through a toggle switch. So that's super easy. And then just really trying to refine other parts of everything else and seeing what we can do a little bit better and, make it just live a little longer and make it easier on everybody to use our equipment. At bigger shoots, it's if you're going to go set up 100 machines, that's going to take some time. You're physically going to move those. So even down to how we've designed our carts and how easy they are to move our machines and adjust our machine. So we try to cut labor time out of that as well for clubs, and just to make it more efficient.
I can tell you every club I've ever been to with a demo machine, that was one of their favorite things, is they don't have to clean up a yard sale when it's time to move the traps. I mean, the solar panel, the solar panel, the charge controller, the receiver, everything's mounted on the on the cart. You don't have to pick anything up. And that's one of their favorite things. But Tracy probably, I don't know if he knows what I'm talking about or not, but I want to know, how many requests did you get for the 1776 model? Did you see that, Tracy?
What's that?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So at STC, they took, well, you tell the story, Scott.
Well, it was, so this is Chris Coolman that owns STC. It was his brainchild. He's like, all right, we got to make a stack that's like 12 feet tall and release it on April Fool's Day. So we made it as a legitimate stack. And then we took PVC, painted it orange, and one of our guys chucked it up in the lathe and he made a tool that's the same size as the clay. So he grooved every one of those tubes so it looked like clays, and we painted it orange. It's crazy. Crazy. And then you've got me up on the ladder trying to load this thing, and we actually put real clays in the bottom. And so, when you see it from a distance, it looks like, weighs 1 million pounds, and it's actually throwing targets. It was good enough that my mom thought it was a real thing. She called, she's like, what are you doing with that? And what's really funny is there are some people in our industry who are very much in our industry. And I saw some of the comments on social media, and they were talking about, well, what's going to happen to it when you lean it all the way over? And I'm just like, dear God, look at the date. We still get people commenting. It was fun, it's just, but so we call it the AT 1776. It would hold 1776 clays. I think I did the math, and it's more like 2,300.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, the one thing that I can say that verifies that they're all American traps is, when these tariffs came out, your prices never changed. That should be proof enough right there that it's American made and it's American products in the machine. So, Tracy, when we first started talking, when I first met you, what was the decision that you made to go to Atlas Traps? Like, why did you want to buy Atlas? What convinced you?
I think the biggest factor is I was setting targets at a club that had a hodgepodge of a little bit of everything. Had every color machine you could think of, discontinued machines, old machines that weren't made anymore, and the ones that were the easiest to work with, that were the easiest to adjust, were by far the Atlas. And that threw a beautiful target. I bought mine, like I said, about 4 years ago, and I got the chargers and, the maintainers and all of those. And it's literally, I haven't touched it. All I do is I move them around, I reset them. I do also, I use them like crazy, and I've done zero maintenance whatsoever.
Wait a minute. You're still running the same battery as you did 4 years ago on those machines?
The same battery and everything. I've done nothing. Literally nothing.
And you're in Washington, so
and
figure out those winters
in the snow. And literally, I have to go, scrape the plates on occasion if I'm giving lessons in the wintertime and whatnot. But they are ready to go, zero maintenance. I've got no reason to buy a different machine.
So one more question about your machines for you. Not only do you have 7 machines, but you work at a club with a bunch of Atlas machines.
Yep.
What's your favorite machine and why?
That's tough, honestly. I guess the AT400, just the standard issue one, you can do so many different things with it. I like the RTC 400 just because it will absolutely throw a target into space. That's pretty fun to do, especially if somebody hasn't seen one of those really cranked up going straight up in the air. You see there, I used to hang out, I'd set targets and I would crank one of those things and throw it straight up in the air as fast as I could, and just to hang out and watch their face.
I can tell you what right now, if I come out there to Washington and you've got one of these new 70 millimeter teal chandelles with a blue spring on it, I'm going home. Just mark me down for
take
0.
2 shots at the other bird.
That was the first thing I thought when Scott talked about it. I'm like, I got to get me one of those.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's just worth the facial expressions, just to see them.
Yeah, we made the mistake of letting STC use our 90 TC machine, and they had to calm it down. Just to give you kind of an example, they had a really high, it was a true pair, they had a really high crow, and then after you killed that, if you didn't literally lean all the way back and look up, you couldn't see the 90 going across. and I think from where the trap was to where it originally was landing was 100 and something yards, but it also went up, it was just almost out of in orbit. It was fun. So not like you're going to want to do that all the time, but it's pretty cool just to see how big of birds some of these things can throw.
Well, I got to call you out on something, and because I think you did, according to what Tracy's saying and all the comments I've got, I think you kind of shot yourself in the foot a little bit. And what I mean is, the ability to throw, a specialty target almost out of a standard 400 sporter. What I mean by that is you can lean that thing so far over. You can throw a beautiful chandelle. You can lean it back, I think 72 degrees, a 72 degree teal out of a standard sporter. I mean, that's insane. And I mean, I really think you kind of limited yourself on specialty targets when you got a standard that'll throw all of it.
Yeah, you're right. And that, back several years ago when we came out with this generation, we changed a lot of things on it so that it would feed and throw everything up until gravity tips it over in the stack. And if we could keep that from happening, it would throw at even farther angles.
Yeah.
So it's wild. So if we lean one all the way back and left or right, you can throw an incredible chandelle. You throw an amazing teal. And if that teal's an incomer, or maybe even an outgoer, you can't really tell if it's, let's say it's a little ways in front of you. You can't tell that it's not straight up. I mean,
yeah,
you study it a little bit, you will, but it's, but you're right. We did, we sold less of our teal and chandelle platform machines once people figured out they could do a lot of that with just a standard sporter.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to decrease sales of the specialty machines. But,
no, it was, no, that's true.
Yeah. Well, hey, Scott, before we let you go, all the sponsors stepped up big time for the 2 dead pair blast shoots we're doing. And I'm really excited. You want to let the cat out of the bag and let everybody know what Atlas is doing for the 2 dead pair blast?
Oh, sure. So for each one, we're going to donate one of our AT-50s. Nice. And then however you want to, if you want to have a random drawing for it or the winner, whatever you decide is fine with us. We just want to put one in each shoot in somebody's hands.
I think what I'm going to do, I thought a little bit about it after you told me. I think I'm going to do all the main event entries into a hat and just draw the names, kind of like as a door prize, give everybody a good crack at it. So
yeah, everybody's got an equal chance. I think that's a great idea.
But yeah, I tell you what, that little AT-50 single stack machine, that's an awesome machine for at home. So somebody's going to be really happy with that.
Yeah, it's really hard to destroy that machine.
Yeah.
We've tried as a tank.
Well, what cracks me up is the cycle time on it. You can get 4 birds in the air at the same time.
Yeah, well, tilt it up a little bit. You can get, I think when 1 is setting, 5's leaving the arm. If I remember right, it's quicker than you need.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
I only got 2 barrels, so two's good enough for me. And I usually have to use both of them at one target. So, but that's all right. Speaking of which, are you shooting any, Scott? Are you still out competing?
If you call it that. Am I still shooting? Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. You don't have to go any farther. I get it. Trust me.
Yeah. No, I love it. And I shoot. I've been shooting about every weekend. And I love it. And I don't think any of us shoot enough. I think every shooter you ever talk to would be willing to shoot even more. So
Yeah.
it's just even on the worst days, you think about what you're doing and where you are, and it's really an incredible sport.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, Scott, am I missing anything here? I mean, there's been so much that's happened since we've had you on. I tried to cover everything I could think of, but is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I think you've done a good job of catching up with us over the last year. It's been 2025 was an incredible year for us. Again, we're humbled by so much of it. Just super thankful to even be in some of the conversations that we're in, and we have a ball doing it. This is literally all we do. So we love it, and we love help trying to grow the sport and getting other people involved. And so, yeah, we're having a great time doing it.
It sounds like, I'm still vice president of the OSCA, and it sounds like Airport Ridge, there in Millersburg, Ohio, is putting in for a 2-year bid for the Ohio State shoot after this year. So it looks like we're going to be seeing you in Ohio.
Yeah, we'll be there for sure. We'll be there for both years if they get that. And I really hope they do, because that, as you know, that facility is absolutely incredible.
Yes.
Just seeing it from when we go all the way back to my first visit there, and seeing where they wanted to put a course in like the most densely forested area, and then seeing how it's all come together. And then when you were even there putting in the pond on the newest course, I mean, it's really, really a special place.
It is. I hope, look, everybody that's listening, aside from traps, I mean, you really need to get there. If it does, well, even if it doesn't go there for the Ohio State shoot, you really owe yourself, if you're in Ohio, to visit that club, because it's absolutely breathtaking. And, Doug and Mr. Troyer do a great job of hospitality with everybody that comes in. So you owe it to yourself.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, you owe it to yourself to check that club out.
And whether they get the Ohio State, I think at some point we will do an Atlas Cup Northeast or something like that.
Oh, nice.
There at Airport. Yeah, it's like I said, it's an amazing place, and we love those guys. So we'd like to do something there for sure.
Speaking of that, before we let you off here, do you know the dates of the Atlas Cup this year?
It is. We had to move it to September.
Okay.
I think 10 through 13. We always have it in April, but now with us at Worlds, it kind of changed that. I think it is September 10 through the 13th.
Okay. Well, I need to get Chris on here in the near future and talk about that. Let everybody know what's coming with that.
He's got a really cool shoot coming up. Big FTAS shoot in March.
Really?
Joe Skull's coming to set targets, and some other guys too. So it's going to be a really fun event.
And that's at STC Sporting Clays, everyone, just so you know. That is in Kansas. So, but yeah, I'll see if I can get Chris on between now and then. Maybe we can just cover both shoots at once.
Sure.
Well, Scott, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone there at Atlas. Really appreciate all the support you guys have given me and this podcast over the years. Look forward to another successful year, man. Seriously.
Yeah, you're very welcome. We appreciate being part of it, and look forward to a lot of years to come.
Well, Trace, you're ready for that 70 teal Shondell, aren't you?
I'm ready. I'm looking for another machine. So
great, Scott. Now I got somebody that's going to be texting me once a week. Is that thing ready yet?
Come on.
My best guess is probably late Q1, early Q2 on that.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, Scott, thank you again very much. And as always, each and every week, everybody, if you're interested in Atlas Trap, the link to atlastraps.com is right down in the show description. Of course, if you want to buy from me, you guys know how to get a hold of me. So, but yeah, check out these traps, man. They're legit. I've been talking about it for 5+ years now on this podcast. Scott, thank you again, man. We appreciate it.
Certainly. Jason, Tracy, great to catch up with you guys, and look forward to more of it soon.
Take care.
The Dead Pair.
All right, Tracy Wright, what did you think, Mr. Scott Manspeaker?
I think it's pretty awesome, honestly. It's cool for me to start putting things together from, the mind behind the machines that I've been moving around and setting for the last few years. It's good. And every time I go to nationals, I like to pick his brain too. So,
well, what's cool is, I kind of joked in the beginning about what again is your title, and I think he is a CEO of Atlas, but man, you saw him at nationals. He's hands-on out in the field. And when you go to Atlas, he's hands-on in the shop back there, trying to develop something with John, who's also one of the owners, who's hands-on the whole time. And I don't know. I think it's really cool that, you take a company like that and, they produce such a great machine. And then to hear that the owners are actually physically hands-on part of developing that stuff, it's really cool. Yeah.
The fact he's R&D and you see all the little subtle changes in the machine, that shows big time. And those changes can't be cheap,
No.
So it's got to really, really matter on a personal level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to figure you're wrapping up manpower and equipment that would normally be allocated towards production to go over and play with something and try something new or, try to change something. And it's costly no matter what. Plus the material. But, hey, listen, I want to give a big shout out to all the shooters at Snake Creek Sporting in Oklahoma. We had Abel on last week, and he was telling me that, pretty much everybody that walks in the door there listens to the show, and I'm very humbled by that. So big shout out to those guys and gals. Thank you very much for supporting us and listening to the show. We really, truly appreciate it. And I told Abel I was going to send a little thank you pack out there. I'll do the best I can with what I got to work with, but thank you to all of those guys and gals. Tracy, before we go, I was thinking about this earlier. You got to have a funny story from a tournament or traveling the tour or something you can tell us. Some little funny tidbit you've had to happen to you along the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't tell this story very much because I think it just makes me look like a complete idiot. But I was talking to a really good friend, about going to the U.S. Open one year. And he told me, hey, you fly in here and, you can stay at this place. It's really cool. It's right off of, country music. It's like country music week and this and that, and it'll be great. So I get my ticket. I fly in. I land at the airport. I grab my gun, all this stuff, and I find a security guard. He was a cop next to like the Uber pickup area. And I said, hey, can you tell me how to get to the Tunica Hotel, for the U.S. Open? And his first words were, Tunica? He goes, boy, that's in Mississippi. I flew to Nashville, Tennessee to go to the Tunica U.S. Open, and I had to rent a car, drive 4 hours through the night, get to my hotel. I got about an hour worth of sleep. I went out because I shot the AM rotation. I got horrible heat stroke. Ended up sitting in the only place that had air conditioning next to Lois Lessing. God bless her. She's amazing. But she kind of helped me recover. But they had just dozed that entire course. Basically, they got flooded out that year. And so they just dozed it like a couple weeks before. Yeah. And there was snakes and snapping turtles and possums and all sorts of stuff everywhere. It was crazy. It was 95 degrees, 90% humidity. Ended up being one of the coolest tournaments of my life, but I will never forget that cop saying, boy, you are in Mississippi. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
Yeah. I flew to the wrong state.
Oh man. Well, listen, I was just about to interrupt you there in the beginning. You said you don't like telling the story because you're afraid of making yourself look like an idiot. Every story I tell about myself makes me look like an idiot, so no worries on that one. But that's hilarious. Flew to the wrong side. I've done a lot of stuff, but I haven't done that one.
Yeah, but it turned out it was Country Music Week, and I stayed in a hotel right there off of Country Music, the right across from the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah,
and all those little bars and all the tour buses. It turned out to be one of the coolest tournaments that I think I'd ever been to, honestly. And It's got a lot of great memories to it after I recovered from heat stroke.
After I recovered from heat stroke. That is cool though. That would be a lot of fun. But oh my gosh,
Cool.
getting there sounded very adventurous.
It was an absolute adventure. Driving from Nashville, Tennessee to Tunica, Mississippi through in the middle of the night, stopping, through the South and like really rural areas. Definitely very interesting.
Wow, that's crazy.
Very interesting. Yeah. There's many more stories that actually are attached to that one, but some that are probably not appropriate for being on the air. But
well, trust me, I've got a lot of those stories too. So, well, hey, listen, everyone. This, we say every week, take someone who's shooting, take them to a tournament. Hopefully, you send them to the right state. But it's the fun stuff like this that goes on. It's not only the shooting, but the camaraderie, and it's such a great sport. Man, why not introduce, your coworker, your family member, your friend, take someone new shooting and if they're already into sporting clays and they've never shot a tournament, take them to a tournament with you. Show them what it's all about. And if you're a champion of this, check out the NSSF link on our website for the +1 program. They have ways that they're going to incentivize you and help you out as being a mentor. Trace, this has been a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Again, you're trying to fill big man shoes, and I told him about that last week when he was on, and he got the biggest kick out of that.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Hope I did you right, brother.
Yeah. Nah, he appreciates you having you on, and I appreciate having you on as well. So thank you. We'll get you back soon. We've got some more exciting stuff. Hopefully you've gotten a hold of your doctor friend. I'm anxious to get him on and hear how that's going to go. Maybe we've talked about rounding up Radulovich and you picking his brain, but I don't know if my wife's up for that much editing or not, but we'll see what we can do on that one. But
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, Dave's a good guy.
Yeah.
But sincerely, thank you, Trace. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you listening. And until next week, we can't wait to catch y'all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, the mark of performance, and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Atlas Traps, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Rhino Chokes, Long Range LLC, Gun and Trophy Insurance, Taconic Distillery, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works.